The Hoovercraft project mainly was designed to be able to study some of the physics that we can't study in any other way. Mostly it's the friction of the floor that causes problems when we do things with collisions. There's a lot of physics in collisions. And so in normal circumstances, you've got all this friction and you can't study the way it's ideally designed. So the hovercrafts basically take away the friction, and so when we do a collision or something like that, we get the actual results that the classroom theory says that we're going to get actually show up in the lab. Through the support of the Kettering Education Foundation grant, I was able to purchase the materials, and I found the design online. A lot of other physics teachers have built these hovercraft, and there's actually several plans online. So I found one that I thought looked pretty good and manageable within a pretty good budget. Pretty simple, and the students actually built, I'd say 90% of the work they did themselves right here in the classroom. I had to do some of the more power tool work outside of class, but they could build it, and they felt a lot of ownership with it, which was really neat. They kind of souped up their designs and put little flags on them, and really had a lot of ownership, which was a lot of the fun.
During the Hovercraft project, we learned to combine all of our lessons that we learned throughout the year and apply them into a lab setting where we could build something that demonstrates all of our lessons, like frictionless surfaces and collisions, both elastic and inelastic. We did inertia and like Newton's third law pairs, where we used sticks where we had to apply a force in one direction to get a motion in the other direction.
The hovercraft project didn't really fit into the curriculum until later in the fall, so we took probably, I'd say maybe 3 days in our physics lab building them and getting them to work right. It didn't work right the first time. We had to make some modifications to the plans, and then we spent a couple of days actually using them in class. And it first started out just a little bit of play, but then we got a little bit more directed about it and did some things specifically designed to show the principles that I wanted them to see.
Hovercraft was a group effort. First we used a shower curtain type material for the bottom, and it turned out it was too thin and it kept ripping. And so we had to go back to the drawing board and get some thicker shower curtains so that it would actually rise off the ground and not without ripping through it. And we also had to figure out how to distribute our weight so that we could go in the direction we wanted to, because if you lean to the left, you'll go to the left. If you lean to the right, you go to the right. So we had to adjust ourselves so that when we pushed, we would go in the direction that we wanted to go.
I don't think we could have seen the concepts quite so clearly in the lab without the hovercraft. We do have some little cars that we put on tracks that are very frictionless, but they're not completely frictionless, and so we still have a lot of problems seeing what we ought to see. So with the hovercraft, even though it took more time and was quite a bit more effort than just setting up our little tracks, I think in the end it was probably worth the time spent.
The most fun part of the hovercraft project was building the hovercrafts, and then we played basketball with them. We called it hovercraftsketball, and it was 2 hovercrafts, and there was 1 ball, and we had a trash can where we used as the hoop, and we had to push ourselves over to the hoop and get it in the basket. And another thing that we did was like hovercraft battles, where we would have 2 people on the hovercraft, and it was like bumper cars where you just run into each other and watch yourselves bounce off of things.
The project was great. Really got the kids excited, and they still ask if we can get the hovercraft out now and then. I probably am not going to build any additional ones because we've got the hovercraft now. We've got all the materials, and that's the nice thing about this, is we can use them, year after year with just a little bit of repair work done on it. So what's neat about this is then I can think about some other ideas beyond this and just add to the repertoire.